Hi guys, I'm Eric Voss, and Avengers 4 released a synopsis for the film with some choice wording that could actually confirm some of the boldest theories that we've been discussing for the movie. Marvel was willing to go full comic book nerd when they killed off half the Avengers in Infinity War. Could they really out-nerd us again in Avengers 4? Sounds like they will. Let's break it all down, and yeah, spoiler warning in case we end up being too right. Okay, here's what we're talking about. On Amazon, a book just went on pre-sale called The Road to Marvel's Avengers 4, The Art of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Comes out on May 7th, a few days after Avengers 4 comes out. Now, this book will contain interviews with cast and crew and set photos and concept art that the movie's creative teams used to inspire their visuals in all these movies. Marvel actually did a similar book release last year with The Road to Marvel's Avengers Infinity War release coordinated with the Infinity War films release. Now, what is interesting is the synopsis that Marvel listed for this new book, which includes this line. The fourth installment in the Avengers saga will be the culmination of 22 interconnected films and will let audiences witness the turning point of this epic journey. Now, for those of us who have been obsessing over Avengers 4 news with tweet downs and toy downs, really going down with whatever we have to. This synopsis sounds familiar. It actually was the exact wording from a synopsis for Avengers 4 that was written in Licensed Global magazine about a month after Infinity War came out. We didn't pay it much attention then because, you know, it was in May and all kinds of Avengers-related headlines were coming out around then. You can't listen to all of them. But the fact that this exact sentence was repeated gives it a little more weight on the whole legitness scale. And that previous synopsis included an additional sentence. It described Avengers 4 this way. Blah, blah, blah. Witness the turning point of this epic journey. Our beloved heroes will truly understand how fragile this reality is and the sacrifices that must be made to uphold it. Wow, okay, remember to breathe. Let's take this key phrase by key phrase. First off, turning point. The phrase that showed up both in the old synopsis and this new one. I don't think it's too big of a bombshell. Like, we've always known that Avengers 4 would be the final film of Marvel Studios Phase 3. And really, the way these movies are structured, you could argue that each one of them is a turning point of sorts. They're all epic, they're all game changers. Hell, even the quirky, grounded side story of Ant-Man introduced the quantum realm to us, which is potentially the craziest cosmic element that we've seen so far in the MCU. But the second key phrase I want to point out, our beloved heroes will truly understand how fragile this reality is. This reality. Yes, I have eaten up a lot of airtime screaming to you about all the clues and hints that Avengers 4 could delve into time travel. I still think that's possible, but more and more that I think about it, if I had to make a prediction here, I think it's more likely that the way the Avengers will defeat Thanos would be crossing over into parallel realities. And just to explain the difference there, time travel suggests moving back to past moments within our current timeline to change them, either causing a ripple effect in future points on that timeline or a new timeline to split off and diverge from it. By comparison, multiple realities doesn't really mean moving back and forth linearly within a timeline, but rather horizontally across multiple timelines. It's also referred to as the multiverse, and it posits that this universe exists alongside a series of infinite parallel dimensions. This concept is something that we have seen explored before on shows like Rick and Morty, and Sliders, and the final season of Lost. Stranger Things too, I think? We don't really know what the Upside Down is. As well as movies like Coherence, and yeah, the Marvel comics, the DC comics, and the world of Stephen King. Multiverses are everywhere in media. The creators of Rick and Morty specifically structured their science fiction adventures on a multiverse instead of time travel because they felt that time travel had been overused as a premise and they wanted to open themselves up to more free-wielding stories. And while the Marvel comics have used time travel as a plot device several times, the X-Men are very guilty of that, the idea of multiple parallel realities allowed the comics to be more creatively daring. For example, rather than just one Spider-Man who can only face one Green Goblin in his lifetime, why not have hundreds of different Spider-Men and women in different realities and face all kinds of villains? Sony's upcoming Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is throwing all of these doppelgangers together in one story that looks really fun. And with audiences becoming more and more accustomed to multiple realities as a fantasy trope, Avengers 4 could finally stretch general audiences' imaginations far enough to the level of weirdness that really exists in the comic books every day. And within this Marvel Cinematic Universe, it wouldn't be totally out of left field. Recently in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Bill Foster's lecture on quantum physics included this line.
In other words, the object in question would be both in and out of phase with multiple parallel realities.
So what could this look like in Avengers 4? Well, one way they could do this is maybe Scott Lang being stranded in the quantum realm could lead to his discovery of a way to cross into one of these parallel realities. A reality in which history played out a little differently. Hell, maybe even a different parallel reality for each of the 20-something heroes in these movies. The reality in which each of them are their most badass self. Like, that could explain why we've seen set photos of Hawkeye with a look closer to the Hawkeye Ronin character in the comics. Maybe there's a separate reality where he's a loner assassin that Tony Stark and Scott Lang can recruit Clint from. Like, cool, we got the best Hawkeye, check. A multiverse could explain why we've heard rumors about Frank Grillo Crossbones reappearing in the series. Like maybe there's a reality where he didn't blow himself up. An explosion that Scarlet Witch accidentally threw into a building, triggering the Sokovia Accords and the division between the Avengers in Civil War. Like, cool, now Stark would have a version of Cap who doesn't hate him, check. I think I get where I'm going with this. Fragile reality, to me, suggests a story that explores other, less fragile alternate realities. One alternate reality, Scarlet Witch with her brother Quicksilver still alive, and her with full confident use of her powers. A different alternate reality, Vision, who controls his Mind Stone rather than letting it control him. An even differenter alternate reality, Spider-Man. Oh wait, there already is one, his name is Miles Morales. All of these alternate reality heroes coming together to form one badass mashup. The way basketball fans have their fantasy top 5, like Michael Jordan from the 84-85 season, plus LeBron James from his 2012-2013 season, plus Bugs Bunny from Space Jam. That's really all I know about basketball, but you know, comic book nerds deserve our own dream teams. And if you watch Rick and Morty, the equivalent here would be SEAL Team Ricks. Like, none of those Ricks knew each other at first, but they were each badass Ricks from their own home realities who came together in the Citadel of Ricks to form an elite team of super soldiers. Of course, the villainous main Rick that we follow pretty easily took them down, but let's just hope that Thanos isn't too familiar with the multiverse. There's really no way a bro that swole has time to read comic books. My question for you is, do you think Avengers 4 is more likely to feature time travel or alternate realities? Comment down below with your thoughts and follow New Rockstars on Twitter and Instagram at New Rockstars. And for the real scoop on all this stuff just for me, follow me on Twitter and Insta at EABoss. There you can get all the updates from my live Marvel parody show Infinity Fan, which guys sold out last month. So we're doing another performance just for you. Friday, November 16th, 8 p.m. Acme Theater, North Hollywood in Los Angeles. Ticket info will be available soon. Guys, it's super funny and I get to make all these dark Marvel jokes I don't get to make here. You won't want to miss it. And of course, subscribe to New Rockstars, this channel, for more Avengers updates and for the occasional visit from more badass Erics from other realities. Yeah, we've been to some weird places here.